My name is Julie Hopper, and I'm the new Academic Assessment Specialist for Lake Superior State University Charter School Office. I wanted to put together a short PowerPoint to discuss the new educational goals that we have implemented across all of our academies. I do plan on visiting each of your academies and discussing this in person, but I thought this would be a good pre-visit activity. So first off, the question that many of you are asking, why is LSSU requiring new educational goals? First and foremost, we want to ensure that students that attend our academies are prepared for college and career readiness. We also want to join the other authorizers in Michigan and evaluate students based on these college and career readiness standards, just like they are. Also, using consistent goals allows for us to compare student performance amongst our portfolio of academies. Student growth on nationally norm reference testing will be the single most important factor when evaluating student performance at your academy. You may be asking yourself, why? We feel that a true measure of the effect an academy has on student learning is seen in the gains or growth made by students throughout the school year. Whereas student achievement provides valuable data and information on current student levels, it does not show how far a student has progressed, which really is a true measure of the good things that are happening in your academy. As an authorizer, we want to ensure that students leave our academies prepared for the next phase of their education and are ultimately prepared to be successful in college, work, and life. We realize that each student is unique and enters your academy with different capabilities and at different levels. However, we want each full academic year student to exhibit enough growth so that they eventually are able to close the gap between where they are and the college career readiness target. In some cases, this will require immense growth, but we feel this is necessary to ensure future success for that student. The next slide outlines Measure 1 of your educational goals, which deals with student growth. Student growth was intentionally placed as Measure 1 in your goals because, like I said earlier, we feel this is the most important component when evaluating the type of education you are providing for your students. Student growth will be evaluated on whether your students are demonstrating measurable progress towards meeting the grade level achievement targets. Measurable progress is defined as closing the gap between a student's fall score and the college and career readiness spring target by 70%. For example, if a student scored a 100 in the fall and the spring college career readiness target is 200, we would expect he or she to close the gap by 70 points. While this may seem rigorous, we feel this is necessary to ensure that students are prepared for success after they leave your academies. The other authorizers in Michigan are collectively establishing these targets. LSSU is not acting in isolation. We do realize not all students will meet these growth targets, but we will look for upward growth trends when evaluating your academy. The 70% gap closure is the ideal target, but we will look for improvement in your growth trends. Slide 7 shows how we calculate growth for nationally norm reference testing. Our student growth formula is as follows. We look at a student's fall actual score and subtract that from their spring college career readiness target. We multiply that by 70%, add in their fall actual score, and that gives us the student's spring growth target. We are aware that not all students will be college bound and may choose alternate paths, and we certainly don't believe that one size fits all. Our goal, however, is to ensure that students will be prepared whichever path they choose. Research suggests that students are prepared for college or career when they earn a minimum of a 21 on the ACT. Each year, Your academy will receive an annual review that includes academic performance data for the current school year. The college and career readiness targets, they are high, and we will look for growth towards meeting those targets. For alternative academies, we will also look for growth trends as well as other indicators of the positive effect your academy is having on student learning and lives based on NACS's recommendations. We will discuss this more for those academies that are in fact alternative. We will discuss this at my site visit. Measure 2 deals with student achievement. The academic achievement of all students in grades 2 through 11 who have been enrolled for 3 or more consecutive years at the academy will be assessed using the following metrics and achievement targets. When we evaluate student achievement at your academy, we will be comparing the performance of cohort students, or those students who have been at your academy for 3+ consecutive years, with the non-cohort students. And no matter what grade, we expect the students or cohort students to achieve scores equal to or greater than the grade level reading and math college readiness achievement targets or core subject area college readiness achievement targets that are identified in this schedule. Slide 11 displays the college and career readiness targets for the various assessments. In the top chart, you can see the grade level in the far left column. PS stands for performance series. MAP is for the measures of academic progress by NWEA. And you can see that we have the spring targets for both reading and math for grades 2nd through 10th in the top chart. The bottom chart displays the grade level targets for the Aspire test and the ACT in their core subject areas of reading, math, science, and English. As mentioned earlier, we deciphered between cohort versus non-cohort students. And in your educational goals, like we said earlier, cohort students should really outperform your non-cohort students. The longer a student remains in your academy, the closer he or she should be to reaching those college and career readiness targets. Measure 3 is student achievement of relative performance and state and federal accountability. The academic achievement of full academic year students will be assessed using the following metrics and achievement targets. I would like to first define what constitutes a full academic year student. Full academic year students are those students who have tested in both the fall and spring testing periods. This allows us to evaluate their fall to spring growth. Now, on average, the academy will score equal to or greater than the performance of your comparison districts in core subject areas. Traditionally, a comparison district is interpreted as a surrounding district in which a building or academy resides. We do realize that many of you pull students from districts outside of your immediate comparison district. So to fairly evaluate student performance on an annual basis, we will ask you to provide information on where you're pulling the majority of your students from. We will also ask for the demographic makeup of your student population, which includes free reduced lunch status as well as special education. We will be comparing student performance on the state assessment, which this year is called the M-STEP, with a fair comparison district. And we will also take into consideration special situations in your student population. In some situations, we will use multiple comparison districts, which we will discuss this in greater detail when I visit your academies. We also expect you to meet the requirements of the state accreditation system and receive a score of at least 70% or higher using the current accountability scorecard. We do realize that this will change. Michigan is in a time of transition as far as the state assessment goes. For the first time in 40 years, Michigan students will be assessed by an assessment called M-STEP, which stands for the Michigan Student Test of Educational Progress. This assessment will be administered in the spring versus the fall. Academies will have the choice of either administering it online or paper pencil. and will be tested on Michigan created content as well as content developed by Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium. The long-term assessment has been rebid and is to begin in spring 2016. M-STEP will include a summative assessment designed to measure students' growth in English language arts and math for grades 3 through 8, in science, grades 4 and 7, and in social studies, grades 5 and 8. This is a transitional year for accountability. The MDE's intent is that test results will be shared with schools, but no consequences will be applied. These test results are to be used at school and district level to improve performance. Measure 4, Academy Goals. This is where an academy board has control to put the goals they feel are important to their academy's mission, and often deal with citizenship or academics. Keep in mind that these goals should not overlap with the student achievement and growth and accountability goals listed in Measure 1, 2, and 3. Note that they may include higher academic targets than that are already outlined in your contract. I want to thank you for taking the time to view this brief PowerPoint discussing your educational goals. Like I said earlier, I will be visiting each of your academies in January or March to discuss your educational goals in detail, as well as review your fall test data, if applicable, of course, and also discuss spring targets and answer any other questions that you may have. I look forward to visiting each of your academies and meeting you all in person. I can always be reached at jhopper@lssu.edu or 906-635-2118. Thank you.